one of the things they wanted in their audiences was returnees. Monday nights would be two seats for the price of one. People going back to the factory or back to the office would try and get a group of 6, 7, 8 people, and all go together, and they would get a big price reduction on the group. And of course, being weekly rep, they saw every week the actors doing different roles. It was fascinating. If you were doing, say, a 4-weekly rep, you only see the actor once every 4 weeks, and then you've really forgotten what he was like 4 weeks ago. But here in weekly rep, they used to go every week, and they used to have their favourite actor. And there was this relationship between the local community and the weekly rep. And they, as I say, they had their favourite actors. Like if they saw an actor in the supermarket, they would go up and perhaps say, oh, I did like you this week. I didn't care for you last week, but oh, you were lovely this week. And the actor would smile, and it'd be comforting. I'll tell you a little anecdote that works the other way with me in a few moments. But that was the relationship they had, and they'd go to the cafes where the actors had their tea and their breaks and that. And the theatre was important to these people, the people that went every week. Sometimes families, whole families would go every week, and they would get a reduction because they were a family, and they'd go to the rep like they would go to church on Sunday. It was a regular, and this is what the impresarios wanted, returnees, so that if you had 50% of your house as returnees, you only needed 50% passing trade, and your money was flowing in. Just a little bit about audiences. As I've told you a bit about the audiences in weekly rep and the prestigious, the posh rep. Let us look at weekly rep. Sometimes these families will say, do you know, I think we'll go down to London. We'll have a little holiday in London, shall we? So when they get to London, they say, do you know, I think we ought to go to the theatre. And they go to the theatre and they go to see a play. Now, when I say a play, what we mean by play is a serious plot, a story around a serious plot, not a comedy, not a farce. Incidentally, because the entrepreneurs liked the money coming in, they did tend to do more comedies and farces than the prestigious rep up the road, as you can imagine. Anyhow, they'd go. And they'd come out and say, oh, I thought it was very good. It was very good. And one of the other men would say, well, it was all right, but it was a bit, I thought it was a bit slow. I thought it was a bit slow. And what was it? Well, when the character walked across the stage, he was thinking, and he walked so slowly. When he made those gestures, they were sort of gestures, they were all so slow. And the main reason was that here is that in London, the director was rather different. He was interested, and the actors had a lot more time to work on their role, their character. They were working on characterization. And it was an ensemble group. They were carrying through the Gospel of Stanislavski. And even Chekhov said to Stanislavski, your plays are too slow. So this group from the north could be forgiven for saying exactly the same thing. But they were working on characterization and the thought process, so that when an actor moves one side of the theatre to the mob, he would probably be it's the thought that's taking him across, motivating the mood. But in rep, like in rep, all the director wanted is pace, I've got to have pace. And they always did this with their arms. It's like a sodden pudding. It's like a pancake. And then they did that with their arms. And that was the difference. The slow, thought-out performance to the one that was one of technique, of pace, and keeping the actors busy, which you had in weekly rep. And there were lots of reasons for that. And one, it sounds ridiculous this, but in weekly rep, I think I've already said, it was more of a working class audience. Those people that came to weekly rep, they were dependent on public transport. And the director had to be sure that the play was finishing so people could get their train or their bus well in time.